any questions for the panel, get in touch using the hashtag #BTSportsScore.
Cheers, Jules. Let's get our teeth into the football then, starting with what's just finished at Old Trafford. As you can see, Michael Owen, Robbie Savage, Paul Ince, Karen Carney and Shay Given all on hand. Of course, two of that crew played for both Liverpool and Manchester United. So, Michael, perhaps we should start with you. How significant the win do you think for Jose's team at Old Trafford, and were they good value for that 2-1 win?
Well, if there was any doubt before the game, it's probably cemented the top four place, let's say. Of course, the second spot is quite key. A couple of teams are involved in that still, and I think the damage was done in the first half. A couple of long balls from De Gea, Lukaku, Liverpool couldn't handle him, and then Rashford. A couple of mistakes from Alexander-Arnold as well as a right back. So Liverpool pressed in the second half, got one back, but couldn't knock the house down in the end.
No, there was a couple of perhaps debatable decisions or non-decisions. We'll get Chris Foy's view in a moment. Incy classic Mourinho, would you say, in terms of the way he set his team up, the way he defended second half?
Yeah, I think so. I think, one thing about Mourinho, he knows how to kill a game. But I was kind of wondering before the game how he'd actually trying to set up his team. He didn't park the bus, even though they were at home. He had to go. He had to go the first half. And as Michael said, got a couple of goals. And it was always going to be tough for Liverpool to get back into it. So, I mean, it was a big week for Mourinho. With Seville coming midweek today. If they lost today, he's been a bit more pressure on them. So, to get that result was a great result.
I'll put the pressure on you before we bring the referee in. Were any of the three debatable second half Liverpool shouts for penalties, in your view, penalties?
I think possibly the third one, was it Fellaini?
Yeah.
On Mane.
Tangle of legs with Mane.
I'm not sure the handball was. It was not intentional for me. It wasn't a deliberate handball. Valencia, and the first one, Salah. Was it Young on Salah in the box in the first half? No. I think third one was a good shout. Wasn't given though.
Chris Foy, then, our referee at Chelsea Palace, which is our live game later on BT Sport. Let's get his view, an expert eye on those three incidents. Chris, were any of them penalties for you?
Quite interesting, three really big incidents, three real talking points from that particular match that we just watched. I think the third one, the Fellaini one, I think that is a penalty. I think he's tripped. I don't see the first two as penalties. I think, the suggestion of handball isn't, and the one with Mohamed Salah, again, is just a normal part of football. So 1 out of 3, I think the Fellaini one is a penalty, yeah.
Thank you, Chris. If we could have just had Robbie Savage in the little squeeze back box there on the TV, he was just dusting himself down because he got that spot on, it seems, didn't you?
Not rocket science, is it? Well, it's easy, this.
That's why you got it right.
It's easy being the ref.
Shay, what was your view? Did Manchester United do everything right pretty much today, do you feel?
Well, it was refreshing that they come out. First half, as Incy said, and they actually had a proper go. Remember the game at Anfield this year was a really 0-0 bore draw, and Mourinho got a lot of stick for that game because Man United didn't try anything going forward. Obviously at Old Trafford they couldn't do that today, but it was refreshing. I think Rashford's first start in 2018. I don't know why he doesn't start more games. He looked phenomenal. Shouldn't have been taken off, in my opinion. And as you say, 2-0 up, then Mourinho's going to obviously stiffen it up at the back and bring Fellaini on and tighten things up. And I think they deserved the win. Liverpool, for me, today were just a bit poor. Just the final pass, the final sharpness around the box just wasn't there today.
Karen, nodding your head, particularly at the, I suppose, praise for Marcus Rashford. He was the difference first half, wasn't he? It's strange that he doesn't start more often.
It is strange. He's got 2 goals today, and then, as Shay said, he was taken off and arguably the best player for Manchester United. And especially when you're on for your hat-trick, you want to stay on. But obviously Mourinho is so key at seeing out the game and bringing Fellaini on. But I agree, I thought Liverpool were quite disappointing today. I think their final ball was not crisp, and also their pace to their game. Usually they're so explosive and so quick. I thought they were quite slow today, and that has to be credit to Manchester United and how they were set up.
Are they both certain top 4 finishes?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I would probably worry for Chelsea at this stage in terms of top 4. But I think Liverpool and Manchester United are definite top 4. It's just who was going to come second. And obviously that was a big pointer today. They've gone, I think, 5 points clear of Liverpool now.
Yeah, and of course Spurs in that equation as well. Did Liverpool get their tactics wrong? They just underperform individually and collectively?
Underperform. United only 2 shots on target, 2 goals. Yeah. Interesting you mentioned Spurs. Mourinho gets hammered. Well, they're 6 or 7 points ahead of Spurs in the league. If, as Incy's already said, big week for United. They can go to the quarter-finals of the Champions League. They can progress to the semi-finals of the FA Cup. They're 6 or 7 points ahead of Spurs in the league. Yet Mourinho, whose teams have scored more than Spurs, conceded fewer, he gets hammered. Yet Pochettino's linked with the Real Madrid job. I can't work it out in my head.
Well, I suppose, playing devil's advocate, you'd say his team cost a little bit more than Mauricio Pochettino's, but...
I think what it is, I think the fans have seen, the boys across the road and Manchester City in the style that they're playing football. And, these fans have been brought up on the way the Man United play. You know, and I don't think they're seeing that with Mourinho. I agree with what you say, Sav, as far as what they've achieved in the table and in Champions League, great. But the fans are so demanding that you play a certain brand of football, and if they don't see it.
So what would you rather than Spurs, who, don't get me wrong, have been very good under
Pochettino,
don't end the season with a trophy. Mourinho won 2 trophies last year.
I know.
And he could win a trophy this year. Yeah, and so could Pochettino, the FA Cup.
Comparing Man United with Spurs, though. Spurs, I mean, Man United have been one of the best teams in the world for 20, 30 years. Spurs are, you know, we're talking about a team that have been coming 6th and 5th for years and years, and they're gradually getting there.
Yeah, but nobody hardly ever criticises Spurs. If that's
because
Mourinho,
they're outplaying what they've done in previous years. United, if anything, are worse than they have been in the last 20 or 30 years. They have, you know, they're winning very few trophies compared to they have 20 years ago. So, you know, you're comparing something that's an established entity that's permanently winning with someone that's with a team that's still trying to improve.
The other point, I suppose, Shay, is did the United fans board who appointed this manager surely not know what they were getting? It's not like we didn't know how Jose sets his teams up. It's successful, but it's rarely cavalier.
Well, the Fergie years, I mean, it was all attacking football, you know, and Michael will tell you more, but, you know, the way they played football, the brand of football, it was always on the front foot, always entertaining, always trying to score goals, never set up for a draw. Fergie was always out to win games. Now, Mourinho is all about getting results, and to be fair to Sav, he is right, he got 2 trophies last year, and a team before Mourinho joined was really, really struggling. So he has improved Manchester United as a football club. Yes, they're probably going to run up runners-up this year in the Premier League because Man City are being so good this year, but he has to get credit as well where credit's due.
They've beaten Liverpool today. It's, I'm sure, a cause for celebration. Let's see what Jules is getting into way of reaction. Jules.
Yeah, well, actually, it's reaction to our poll that we put out on Twitter earlier on today, based on what Shay was just talking about there. Who would you rather play under, Jurgen Klopp or Jose Mourinho? And despite this lunchtime's result, 70% of you say you'd still rather play under Jurgen Klopp than the 30% that vote for Jose Mourinho. You can still have your say on that. The poll is running live all throughout today, and we're going to revisit that throughout the afternoon. So it's on @BT Sports Score on Twitter.